I have a giant ego. Huge. I know you know, of all people, given what is happening right in front of you, right? I obviously think I'm something of a laugh, clearly, by my choice of profession. But you have no idea the extent to which my ego has got out of hand, right? A couple of days ago, I was having a coffee with my friend, and as I was speaking, I lost my train of thought. And the reason I lost my train of thought is because as I was speaking, in my head I started thinking, well, I am being very interesting here. I'm so interesting, I'm intellectually stimulating, I'm a great laugh. I'm jealous of people who get to meet me, that's the thing. So, the reason that my girlfriend and I had been out in Australia is I'd been out in Australia doing some gigs. I was doing some gigs at the Melbourne Comedy Festival. Now, the gigs were really fun, which is good because I didn't think they were going to be. Because before I went to do the gigs, there was an incident. Now, a lot of the time when you go to a comedy festival, there's too many comedians to interview, all sort of individually. So what they'll do is they'll send out Q&As. Now, these are all the same questions everyone gets, and they're all like, it's like a standard form that you get sent out. And they're all sort of boring questions like, where are you from, who are your favourite comedians, blah, blah, blah. Then, occasionally, journalists will get creative. I have no idea why they feel the need to ask wacky questions, but they ask some wacky questions. There'll be a question like, oh, if your comedy show was a dog, what kind of dog would it be? I'm so wacky. Maybe I should be a comedian. What? Shut up. Now, I'm filling one of these things out, and I'm happy to do it because I get to go to Australia, and I'm going through one of these questions, and there's also boring questions like, where are you from, who are your favourite comedians? Then there is a question that's been personalised for me. It's in a different font, so I spot it a mile off. It's clearly been inserted into an existing document. And the question that these people had personalised for me was this: how come Christians are allowed to draw pictures of their prophets and Muslims aren't? To which the obvious answer is, I don't know. My parents are Hindus. I've got no idea why they would think I would know. Now, one of two things has happened here. Either these people have seen that I've got a foreign name and just thought, must be a Muzza, definite Muzza. Nish Kumar is a classic Muzza name. Or they think we have non-white people meetings where we assemble, set the non-white agenda for the year, and then retire to a screening room where we watch a DVD of Boys in the Hood. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. I was doing a gig in a part of the UK which I will not name, and there was a group of sort of nervous-looking middle-aged white people here, and it was a three-sided room. So there were two banks of seats here which were empty, apart from one black guy who was sat here, presumably because they were keeping an eye on him. And this guy obviously decided he was going to have some fun, right? Because when I used the phrase non-white people meetings, he turned to make sure that they were all looking at him, and then in full view of all of these people, just looked at me and went, you have not lived until you've seen a room full of middle-aged white people simultaneously shit their pants, right? So, obviously, I didn't know how to answer this question because this is a contentious subject, and, you know, I don't want to upset anybody. But I was offended. Like, I didn't think they had the right to ask me those kind of questions. My Muslim friends would know how to answer that question. So I felt very uncomfortable. But it was hard for me to articulate my discomfort because the next question was, oh, if your comedy show was grass, would you feed it to a horse? And I was like, you can't jump back into whimsy after you've just asked me a serious theological question. But then luckily, there was a little scope for discussion, because the last question wasn't really a question, it was a task. They had given us the first half of a joke, and we had to complete the second half. They'd given us the feed line, we had to write the punchline. You're supposed to complete this in a way that shows your distinctive style of humour so people will come and watch you do the show. And the feed line that they'd given us, the first half of the joke was, a book walks into a bar and sees a bookcase. And this is how I finished the joke. A book walks into a bar and sees a bookcase. The book says, hey, bookcase, how come Christians are allowed to draw pictures of their prophets and Muslims aren't? And the bookcase said, I don't know, I am a bookcase. as such, have no idea about Islamic theology. I assume you've asked me because I'm a brown bookcase? In which case, you can go to hell. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been an absolute delight. My name is Nish Kumar. Thank you very much. Good night.